I am guided by a duty to serve others, particularly the marginalized. It's a biblically based value system.
I am guided by my belief that I am God's creation, that I belong to Him, and that everything that I do in my life should be out of love and gratitude to Him.
I guess my strongest value is I want things to be just, and I expect fairness for everyone. And when I see injustice, it's a huge motivator to change the world.
My value system is also grounded in my faith. The idea to paraphrase some scripture, to just live a life worthy of the calling that I've received, and to seek to glorify God in everything that I do.
I am motivated likewise by my faith, and very much view myself as a vessel for trying to both live out my own highest calling and sort of share my gifts as best I can.
I'm on maternity leave right now, and that's actually allowed me to do a lot of reflection around, our current environment, what's occurring in our country and our government, and then also just around, what my priorities are moving forward. And I do actually think that, kind of as cliche as it might sound, as my children and their future and leaving this world a place where I am proud is a lot of my guiding principles right now.
I don't think that growing up I was ever allowed to consider or identify at all with the Democrat Party.
I too was raised in a place where Democrat was a swear word. I know that I am conservative in many of my political views, but being able to swallow the label of Republican after November is difficult.
I was raised by a conservative family overseas, and they are all still very much Republicans. I became an independent, partly because of my work in the homelessness sector. I just see how public resources can be used. And then with my faith, I feel that my money is not my own. I think of as the government as a way through which justice can be done. And I don't mind high taxes, for example, because I see that money going towards something good. That said, I have also seen the waste and how that can get in the way.
Similar to Misty and Britt, I grew up in a Republican, fairly conservative household. That was the default position, I guess. But it also, I think, in my older age, the idea of individual freedom and less intervention by the government, and giving people that kind of free choice and self-agency is something that really resonated with me. I do think, in general, the idea of a smaller government, letting people, as Misty said, do their thing and make their own decisions, and have results that are commensurate to those decisions, makes sense to me.
I grew up with a leaning towards being a Democrat because my dad worked in public service. Although now I don't really identify with either party. I feel like I'm very much a centrist. Since this election, I've been reading a lot of conservative books and finding myself increasingly empathetic towards the conservative point of view.
I am the child of immigrants, and the support that they received as immigrants, the Democratic Party sort of drew me as more aligned with that. But for me, what's interesting in the last year being on the Central Committee is that 90-something% are registered Democrat, but there's even still so many different shades of blue within that. You would think we would all just be aligned and work together, and we have to work together to achieve whatever it is your goal is. But even within that, there's a lot of breakdown and disagreement and infighting.
I'm very pro-life, but I wish that the entire pro-life movement would forget about Roe versus Wade and just let it go, and instead focus all of that energy and all of that money into creating a society where single mothers are supported and welcomed.
My wish is a very broad, obviously most of them probably are, but it's more of that government is not the solution. That we are the best advocates for ourselves. Government, when they do get involved, they tend to pick sides. So when a side's chosen, then anger develops, and I think that's what's creating a lot more divisiveness.
I really do believe that there's a safety net required for a lot of the populations that have historically been oppressed. The system is not equal for all, and that a safety net exists because the system has not been equal for all.
I don't feel comfortable landing either on the side of, the government should be really big or the government should be really small. I think it's a lot more complicated than that, and each issue is going to have its own solution.
It strikes me that our state's been at the epicenter of the struggle between gay rights and traditional, often religious values for the last 5 years. So this is an issue that it's always struck me as a tough issue, and it can't just be one side or the other.
I do believe that gay people are marginalized. I just need to err on the side of love and acceptance. And so that's sort of where I've come down to it.
And we all chime in and agree that government has no business in marriage whatsoever.
I don't think the government is here to legislate Christian morality. Government is not here to tell people that gay marriage is wrong, because that is a Christian belief for those who interpret the Bible that way.
I think it was nice to hear priorities that people have and their ideas about how to achieve them.
I just really appreciated that we were all coming from this shared value system and yet come to different conclusions and can speak humbly and, with grace for each other's opinions.
And then at both sides, I mean, we seem to argue and chant back and forth that we're right, we know the answer, and we know the solution, and that's not the case.
I think we did unpack here just how multifaceted and complex all these issues are.
So thank you all so much for your time. Feels like everyone needs to be in these conversations.
Thank you so much, Sabrina. Great to meet all of you.
Have a great evening.